Welcome to the Boxing Talk Show.
Fair but firm.
With the Hall of Fame boxing referee.
I'm Joe Cortez.
And co-host John Zamel for all of Las Vegas.
Come on, guys. Let's touch them up. 3 fight. I'm Joe Cortez. Fair but firm.
Here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the boxing capital of the world.
Mm-hmm.
We're wrapping up the end of the year with some nice fights.
Yes, sir.
And we are going to, first of all, I want to say welcome some of our friends that will be on the line shortly. Nelson Fernandez from HBO, who retired. And, of course, HBO has retired too. We're here with my co-host, John Zimmel.
Hello.
And we're going to be having a good half-hour talk about boxing. And, of course, you know, John, that as passionate I am about boxing, I try to bring as much as information, my career, my expertise as a ring official for so many years, over 35 years.
Yes, sir.
As a referee, but
Hall of Fame.
Of course, but as a fighter and boxing judge when I was refereeing as well. It brings back a lot of thoughts about how we should try to improve boxing, make boxing a bit better. Sometimes there's always room for changes, for improvements.
Absolutely.
And we want to hope to start out with our Fair but Firm Boxing Academy convention here in Las Vegas 2019, which we'll talk about that in our next couple of shows. But we are definitely going to be trying to do something with the boxing officials, amateurs and professional, to get them up to make their dreams come true. One, to try to learn as much as we can. And also you fans out there, yes, so when we have the convention come up, I want you guys to also attend, just to meet and greet with the champions and with some of the household name officials that will be at this convention every year. Anyway, I want to bring on the show right now Nelson Fernandez. Nelson Fernandez is a dear friend I've known him for over 35 years. And he's been with HBO for a number of years. I would say a good 25 years. And most recently he retired. I guess he saw the writing on the wall. HBO retired as well. So, Nelson Fernandez, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Okay,
Merry
Nelson.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas
Merry
to you.
Christmas, Joe, to you and your family.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas. I tell you, it's always a pleasure talking with you because I know that when you come online, you're always talking about the best in boxing. You always have so much knowledge. You tell us, you started back in HBO in what year, Nelson?
When I retired in February 24th, that was my 31st year.
Oh, my.
31 years, okay. And you retired,
Yes,
you retired February. Now, did you know that HBO was closing the doors back in February?
No, I tell you, it was a surprise for me because they gave me a big party and they gave me a nice Rolex watch, and it was a great honor. And I'm telling you, I cried like crazy after 31 years.
Well,
But once the HBO made the announcement that they were closing the boxing doors, they called me that very same day, and they said that they wanted me to do the final two fights, which I did, Joe. So it was an honor as well.
Okay, so now you cover HBO in Spanish, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
SAP, Section Audio Programming.
There's rumors saying that the reason why HBO closed the doors was because you were leaving.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I want to say yes, but no, hell no. You know, they have bigger fish to fry, and I'm sorry. And I want you to know, Joe, that the last show we did, December 8th, it was crying all over again because it was a family at the HBO business.
Yeah, I saw Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman and Roy Jones Jr. speaking. They all three were very emotional at their farewell.
As was I watching it. It was an emotional moment.
So it was kind of that was John here, John Zim on the line with us. So
hi, John.
Hi.
So, but I think that it was a very emotional night for the boxing fans to say farewell to boxing on HBO. But Nelson, I always felt that when they mentioned that they're going to hang up the gloves with HBO, I felt that I think that's only going to be something temporarily. I don't think it's going to be permanent. I think that they'll probably come back, and if they don't, they should come back with smaller fights to keep boxing alive. And because, a lot of fans are telling me, hey, Joe, we're not going to subscribe no longer to HBO because we were with HBO because of boxing. We have no need for it anymore. So I think they're going to lose a lot of subscribers, and they're going to go over to the other networks to watch fights instead.
Yeah.
But
Well, Joe, you know for a fact that when I was with Chewy Torres at USA Tuesday Night Fights, we thought the same thing. We had a run of 7 years. I was 7 years with USA Tuesday Night Fights, and Chewy and I at that last show, which was at the Blue Horizon, we said, can't be. We're going to have USA Tuesday Night Fights again. It was a very sad night, and guess what? It was never another Tuesday night fights.
Well, there's a lot of networks out there now that are trying to put boxing on, and I think that being that boxing is back on the rise again, somebody gonna come up and say, you know what, let's put fights on Monday nights, Tuesday nights. But boxing back in the days, you said Tuesday nights. A lot of those fights were coming, like you said, the Blue Horizon in Philadelphia, a small arena, but always a big crowd. They're the big fight fans. They really follow boxing at the Blue Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I remember St. Nicholas Arena in New York City. They also had, I think they had fights there. I believe it was Monday nights. But there was almost fights almost Wednesday nights, Thursday nights. It was all over the place.
Sunnyside Garden.
Right. Exactly. Sunnyside Garden in Queens, New York. Exactly.
Yeah.
Where I fought at many times. Anyway, Nelson, I just wanted you to tell us a little bit more about your experiences, your years with HBO.
Well, it's I started with TVKO, and then they had me in the corner, and I just grew into the position I have as play-by-play. So it was great. And Joe, you and I have talked this off the air about it. They're just a bunch of great people that knew how to treat you, treated you right, and big family. And I was lucky enough to get paid a lot of money to do those fights with the job I wanted all my life. And my dad loved boxing, and that's how we knew each other when we would go to your fights and your brother's fights, and it was magnificent. It was a dream come true for me to belong to such a great family at HBO.
Yeah, well, it was great. Well, it was always a pleasure to hear you when you were covering the fights in Spanish. It was really something much needed, and they did the right move because they knew how the Latino culture, the Latinos around the country,
Absolutely.
around the world wanted to watch the fight, but didn't understand it in English. They did the right thing by bringing you on in Spanish, and you brought a lot of fan base to HBO as well. But anyway, Nelson, I just want to thank you so much for being on the air today. We got a lot to cover about boxing, but we sure want to give you a first shot and to wish you a healthy and a happy New Year. A Merry Christmas to you and your beautiful family, and hope to catch up with you again soon in New York.
The same to you and your family, Joe. The Fernandez family loves the Cortez family to death.
All right, thank you so much, and we
Thank you, Nelson.
We appreciate your.
Thank you, John.
We appreciate your kindness, your friendship, and great heart that you have. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Take
Goodbye,
care.
my friend.
Bye-bye. Well, you heard there Nelson Fernandez from HBO, who just retired, just like HBO that retired.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go into a brief commercial, and John Zimmel and I will come up with a lot of wrap-up before the end of the year. Welcome once again to the Fairburn Firm Show here with Joe Cortez and my co-host John Zimmel. Wishing you guys a Merry Christmas and a happy holidays. This is going to be a good year, wrapping it up for boxing. John,
Yes,
can
sir.
you tell us a little bit about, we know we have fights tonight in Madison Square Garden. We got Canelo Alvarez fighting Rocky Fielding. Can you tell us a little bit about that fight and
Absolutely.
the up-and-coming fights?
Well, Canelo Alvarez recently signed a deal with DAZN. It's a streaming app. It makes him the highest-paid athlete in the world, and this is his debut on that network. It's an app. If anyone's interested in seeing it, I mean, I imagine if you're listening to this, you're probably pretty interested in seeing the sport's biggest athlete fight. And you just go on at DAZN, and it's a streaming site. The first month's free, so you can watch tonight for free. And after that, it's only $10 a month. And so this is his first debut on that network, and you're pitting him up against the 168-pound regular WBA champion, Rocky Fielding, a gentleman from England. And I always like to say, I think right now it's appropriate to say that I think in boxing, the spirit of boxing is in Mexico, the wallet of boxing is in America, but the pulse of boxing right now is probably in England, in the United Kingdom, and the ability. Those are the two most passionate fans in the fight game right now. You'll find in Mexico and England, and being able to pit two of those stars against each other is very exciting. Now, I don't want to over embellish it. This should be Canelo's fight. It's kind of funny. We're watching this right after that ESPN 30 for 30 came out, the 42-1 when he was talking about Buster Douglas's famous upset over Mike Tyson. And this is not on that same level, but it's up there. I mean, Canelo Alvarez should win this fight, but he is going up in weight for the first time in his career to 168 against a guy who, when you see the face-to-face, is like a good head taller than him. So it's going to be a fun fight to see how he uses that reach disadvantage in his favor or, finds a way to mitigate it. I mean, there's a reason why the guy's the highest-paid athlete in the world right now. And as always, I'm excited to see him work again.
Exactly. I thank you for that information.
Of course.
And we know that in boxing, strange things can happen. We see it happen over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
We saw with Isaac Dogboe last week.
Oh, yeah.
Got defeated by Navarrete, the Mexican warrior. And we were not expecting that.
He just got thoroughly outboxed all 12 rounds. It was crazy.
Yeah. So, and the crazy things happened. To me, that's one of the upsets of the year because
absolutely,
I thought Dogboe was unbeatable after beating Jesse Magdalena.
Yeah, Jesse Magdalena, and then when he defended his title the very next one, I mean, we've been talking about Dogboe all year because he's been one of those guys that really took us by surprise. We were very excited about, and honestly, that was a big shocker for me when that news came up. So I think both of us were kind of surprised by it. So yeah, that's definitely in the conversation for upset of the year. If you want to hear our whole rundown of fight of the year, upset of the year, round of the year, knockout of the year, blah blah blah, all the fighter awards, the Fair but Firm awards, we'll be doing that on Monday the 31st, I believe, on the actual. I think Monday's the 31st, and we'll be doing that on our YouTube and iTunes and Facebook and everything else channel on Monday afternoons.
Absolutely. No, we're really looking forward to that, and we know that you fans out there, the diehard fans, are really looking forward to getting expertise, opinion when it comes to these outstanding fighters. And
it was a big year, man. It was a big year, and it deserves big awards.
Yeah, and of course, I'll tell you right up front right now, Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin to me was a fighter
so far.
But yeah, it was a.
That's your yeah, I get it.
It was, man. The fans were really looking forward to.
We got an upset of the year candidate tonight, though. If Rocky Fielding pulls it off, it's upset of the decade.
It will be because I won't be surprised because it can happen.
It can happen. At 168 pounds, Canelo's never fought anybody this big. Not anyone. And I don't just mean this weight. I mean this height. He's never fought anyone. So, I mean, a lot of times guys go up and they're not used to fighting guys who can use their reach advantage. We saw Terrence Crawford against Jose Benavidez, and he, I don't want to say struggled, but he wasn't able to run through him like he was all his other opponents because he wasn't used to somebody that height. Yeah. We saw it with, what we were just talking about, Dogboe. He has never fought anybody at that height that he just moved up to, and so he was completely taken by surprise. I'm sure Canelo will be ready and his skill set will mitigate it, but this is something that you have to, factor in.
Yeah, well, that's just like Tyson Fury the other day when he fought that draw with
Deontay Wilder. Excellent point.
With Deontay Wilder, what happens is that you have these fighters with the height, with the reach, and then you can be a great fighter, but when you fight somebody with those skills,
taller than you and you never have before, yeah.
The skills that Tyson Fury brings into the boxing. It just may surprise Wilder and surprise a lot of our fans, including myself.
Me too.
Of his skills. So I think that can easily happen tonight.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't I don't know if I'd go easily, but it definitely could happen. I mean, you're fighting a guy who literally has like a foot on you. It's kind of crazy when you see him with the face-to-face. When it first showed the one promo, I thought they were trying to build it up and go at an angle to try and make it look a lot more. But once you saw the face-to-face yesterday, it was pretty obvious that he's got him by quite a bit. I don't know what the actual reach stats are. I should look it up, but the height stats are pretty significant.
Yeah, there could be a big height difference. That's what I mean. The pre-fight, the weigh-in, all that. And like you said, a head size, one head above.
Legitimate,
Canelo, I'm sure they have a good team. And
I'm sure he's been sparring with NBA players or whatever.
I'm sure
he's fine.
I'm sure they've been sparring with taller fighters with good skills, boxing skills. But that's what he needs for preparation for the fight tonight.
I agree.
And but that's boxing. I mean, boxing is always full of surprises. Again, always we talked about before. Tyson getting knocked out by Buster
The
Douglas
biggest upset ever.
at 42-1 underdog, and he comes back and beats him. So
That was a really good documentary, by the way.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
guys haven't seen it yet, it's on ESPN. It's one of their 30 for 30 series, and it was outstanding. And
Yeah.
most of theirs on Boxing R, and but that one was another one that just it was very, very well
yeah,
done.
I remember when I fought for the national championships in Chicago, old Chicago Stadium. I was a youngster coming up, and 17 years of age. I'm fighting one of the toughest guys on the Chicago team.
Yeah.
For the Nationals, and I was a big underdog because this guy was national champion like 3 years prior to that, consecutive years, knocking everybody out throughout the tournament. And when I fought him, it was like one of my easiest fights.
Really?
I beat him with no problem because I had the height, the reach, and all that worked in my favor.
That'll do it, man. That's a big.
So-
That's a big deal. You know,
It's a big
there's
deal.
a reason why we talk about that. Height and reach are a big deal,
Yeah.
and that's what makes this fight the most interesting. It's just to see. You know, it's not so much a who's going to win, although, like you said, it's possible. But it's not so much a who's going to win, but how is Canelo going to mitigate this huge height and reach advantage? And let's see if his power holds through to 168. Let's see if his defense holds through to 168. And it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, in boxing, these trainers, I'm sure they also put in fighters that are much heavier than Canelo.
He's probably been sparring with Tyson Fury.
He probably been sparring with guys light heavyweights, 170, 175. So you can feel that little difference in punching power. But again, when you're sparring in the gym, you are not allowed to spar without the 16-ounce gloves, which are twice the size of what they were going to wear for the fight tonight. So when you actually put on those 10-ounce gloves,
You're not under those lights either.
and you get hit with those punches a lot different than when you are in sparring. so we'll see. And everything is. I predict that Canelo will win by a knockout.
Stoppage or KO?
It'll be a stoppage
think so,
with
too.
a body shot. A good left hook to the body will put this guy away. That's my prediction.
He'll probably work the body the whole time. He's great at working the body.
And that'll work. That'll happen before 6 completed rounds. I think Canelo will win by
there it is.
stop it. You guys, we're going to go into another brief commercial. We'll be talking more about tonight's fight and other fights coming back. Hello, and welcome back again to the Fair Firm Show here with Joe Cortez and my co-host John Zimmer. Guys, again, we're going to talk a little bit more about this morning. I got a call from one of my writers. Him and I write a column in Puerto Rico called Contragolpe, which means in English is counterpunch. And he was out in Orlando, Florida this morning visiting a fighter who got knocked out in a fight a couple of 2.5 years ago, Pritchard Colon. Pritchard Colon was a rising welterweight from Puerto Rico, undefeated. And they ended up getting stopped by, I forgot his opponent's name. But the thing was that I saw Pritchard Colon this morning on Facebook. They called me on FaceTime, and we were talking. And he supposedly, he had his eyes open. He was smiling. And I said, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch him up. He looked at the monitor. He was like, so his eyes lit up. I started throwing some jabs, and because his mother was saying, throw some jabs. Or Carlos was telling me, Joe, throw some jabs. I threw some jabs, and he was trying to slip the punches, while he's sitting down. He was able to show me his fine motor and his hands, his legs, trying to move his legs. So he showed a lot of improvement. And he tried to talk to me, couldn't get the words out, but he was telling me, gracias, thank you. And it was amazing how his improvement, his changes, and how he has been able to come back the way he has. And we're wishing the same for Adonis Stevenson, who got stopped 2 weeks ago tonight in Canada, and he's going through some difficult times there right now. He's still in a coma, induced coma.
Oh yeah.
So boxing is really a tough sport. It's a hurt business, and not only does it hurt the fighter, it hurts the families and the fans alike of what's going on with this fight. This game is a tough game, but we need 5 referees out there to make sure these fighters don't take unnecessary punishment. But by the same token, I like to see trainers step up a little bit more and train their fighters with better defense. People don't like the skills of Floyd Mayweather. They feel Floyd Mayweather is like not a slugger, but you know what?
He'll be talking fine for the rest of his life.
Yeah, he'll be okay, and that's why we got to see more defense. How these fighters, get off.
I get it, but I mean, some people's style is just their style. Some people are just, that's what they're going to be. They're going to be brawlers. It's the way it is. And even if you take away unnecessary punishment, this is still a dangerous game. And I think when you look at Pritchard Colon and the case of him and Adonis Stevenson and a million others that we've seen throughout the games, yes, it's so important that we make things as safe as possible, but it's always still going to be the hurt business.
Right.
And I think it's important to remember as fans and commentators and, like you say, coaches, athletes, everything, that we remember that these guys are putting their lives on the line every single time we see them out there. And, that's what makes this so exciting. That's what makes it so important. That's why there's 2 or 3 a year at tops. You know what I mean? When at that top level. And, just appreciate them while they're here, because that's the most beautiful thing about this sport is like shooting stars,
Exactly. So boxing is a tough business, a tough sport. And it's like everything in life. Life is not easy sometimes, and it certainly is not for the fighters.
Yeah.
And we hope to see these fighters, come back. And I want to say, give a shout out to my friend RJ here in Vegas, passing of his mother last week, Sandy Colon Pelton, and who was a dear friend. And she did so much for the community, a very patriotic American who gave so much. She was from Puerto Rico, but always everything it was about America for her. Everything she did, any event we participated in, she was really a rocking star, really fabulous. Like her favorite word was fabulous. And she was a fabulous person. Anyway, I just want to say that before we wrap it up, John, let's finish up a little bit about the next coming fights, up and coming fights. Now, you guys hear my little voice. I have a little echo today, so pardon my man's voice today.
I like it, bro. I think it sounds good.
But
Barry White, yeah, I hear you say something.
But Barry White, yeah. But John, so let's wrap it up a little bit with
talking about the rest of the year. What the rest of the year has in store for us?
Exactly.
Well, we got the Canelo fight today. We got the biggest fight of the year, or the biggest fighter in the world fighting today in his debut on the DAZN app. But next week on free television on Fox, you have a doubleheader between the Charlo twins. That's Jermell Charlo and Jamal Charlo. They are the WBC middleweight and WBC light middleweight champions of the world, and they'll be defending their titles in a genuine doubleheader. Next week on Fox, and it's I'm super excited about that. That'll close out the year, as long as the Josh Warrington fight over in the UK that we'll be getting into next week. We have a lot of that to talk about next week. Make sure you tune in. We're going to be wrapping up the month, and it's just going to be super exciting because December's been very good to us. Santa came early this year.
Yeah, well, we want to wish our listeners out there and viewers on Facebook, we want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a healthy and happy New Year. Thank you for tuning in, being with us for all these months with
Absolutely.
boxing. And of course, we love you guys out there, and we hope you stay in shape, in good shape for 2019, because we have a lot coming in 2019.
Oh yeah, baby.
We love you guys. Protect yourselves at all time. And remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch them up. Merry Christmas. God bless.
Fair but firm.
With the Hall of Fame boxing referee
I'm Joe Cortez.
for all of Las Vegas.
Come on, guys. Let's touch them up. Clean fight. I'm Joe Cortez. Fair but firm.